Yeah, with that being said, we have Vay versus Doggo, and Doggo has that notorious Fenrir Mordex. So will they be able to pull the power of the Fenrir Mordex out against Vay? That's going to be the real question as we are on Miami Dome. Vay picking up that spear, and looks
Wait,
like Doggo is trying
Doggo
to
might
figure
have
some
a
stuff out.
problem.
Well, and right now, Vay's respecting it. I respect Vay for not going full in onto Doggo. But right now, I mean, between both these players, they're ready to go. And with that being said, Doggo is now being like, okay, let me go ahead and move around a little bit. Let me see what I can do. Does an attack. Says, you know what? Now we're good to go after getting that first attack. That was the sign, so to speak, to Vay. So right now, Vay with that spear and Doggo with that scythe.
It's a good thing they mutually agreed to do that. Like homie stalking is another good situation, but Vay gets a great gravity cancel down signature, which unfortunately does not become close to killing Doggo. Recovery. And now we can see Cher going back into the lobby, but Doggo may actually pull off some little Fenrir Mordex things, if you know what I mean. Vegas' side signature, but unfortunately misses as Doggo spot dodges and manages to escape it. Down sig from Vay, and a slide charge down sig from Vay takes the first stock. A minute 10 in, and Vay has a pretty good lead, but it's not a huge lead, but a lead is a lead, and yeah, a lead's a lead.
Yeah, and they got in a very, very nice fashion as well with the spear off-edge down signature. Off-edge, any signature for that matter, it catches a lot of people off guard. I know a lot of people with Azure, they'll spam the off-edge side signature with sword, which will kind of go off ledge and catch people off guard too. So Vay using the movement of those signatures very, very nicely to go ahead and get that knockout. But at this current point in time, I mean, we have Vay in the low red of their first stock. We see Doggo in the orange of their second. They are almost down a full stock over Vay. They realize that, and they're trying to do something to really make amends. But Vay has that range with that lance, that neutral layer into neutral signature. Catches Doggo, but Doggo not timing their jumps right, and Doggo's now down to that final stock.
He did not touch the stage. You hate to see that when you're off stage and you know you're gonna get destroyed. No, let me rephrase that. It's really hard to accept that you're off stage and you can't get back up, but Doggo at least will not be 3 stocks. Manages to get a recovery off a little bit off the bottom of the stage. I don't know how to put it in words, but he gets the stock. We might get some Fenrir Mordex things in the favor of Doggo. We almost get that, but it does get banned in the orange. I think a comeback is possible from Doggo because, well, like I said a couple times, it's that Fenrir Mordex is Fenrir Mordex things all the time.
Yeah, and with that being said, though, I mean, we are starting to see a little bit of that power coming out of Doggo with that scythe, trying to really change things around a lot more. They feel a lot more comfortable just based off the gameplay that we're seeing in this past minute or so. So nice jump recovery onto Vay. But Vay does have that range with that lance, and that was what was catching Doggo off guard in the beginning of this round. So right now they're baiting Vay into doing light attacks and really punishing those, and just trying to go in for these neutral layers here and there. But I mean, at the moment, Vay has this neutral control because Doggo is having a little bit of a difficult time countering it.
That neutral signature almost manages to take Doggo out of this game, but I'm assuming it's not going to happen with that recovery. And a reverse 3 stock is possible if you're Doggo. You just got to work your heinies off for it. And that's exactly what Doggo has to do, because I think one more sig, no matter what weapon it is, no matter what angle it is, up or neutral down, and like I said, downside or neutral, it would have killed, and that's going to mean Vay takes the first game off Doggo.
Indeed, and Doggo was doing very well, trying to make a comeback there, but just because of how big of a lead Vay got over Doggo, that was a huge thing for Vay, and Doggo realized to try to make these amends there on that last stock that they had, but unfortunately, Vay was able to go and get that knockout onto Doggo and prevent that reverse 3 stock. And realistically, if that would have happened, that would have messed with Vay entirely. So we're going to game number 2. We see Doggo going over to the Sidra with that defense stance. So we'll have to see how that cannon and that sword do. as we go into game number 2 and see how it counters the range of Vei's Lance.
Rocket Lance. Yeah, Lance. All right, this is the second game of this particular set. We got a lot of neutral attacks coming out from Vei, but you got to start off with neutral attacks to begin a game, which honestly that's ultimate, but we might be seeing some Lance things as Vei got a lot of damage, but unfortunately it was just all for nothing. Cider right into the recovery, does not even come close to hitting with that recovery. Dare. Neutral signature. A lot of people do not like that neutral signature because it's like really easy to spam when you're off stage. Neutral light. We're not seeing a lot of cannon damage because Doggo needs to play patient, and you guys need to play patient as well. If you want more kills and to play a little bit better, you gotta make sure you slow down and make sure you punish attacks rather than just running right into your opponent's attacks. Oh, Vei almost didn't touch the wall, and he gets that, and that's a really unique combo. That's a really unique sequence of events. He went for the unarmed D-Light and then got the recovery on the sword to finish off the stock.
Yeah, they used that weapon pickup very, very nicely to take advantage. But as Vei comes back, picks up that Lance there and gets that side air knockout on Doggo, making things 2 stocks all. And I mean, right now Doggo is keeping up a lot better compared to the first round. But Vei is just trying to use that ranged advantage, and they're starting to get these attacks here and there very, very nicely so far on the Doggo.
Looks like we got a lot of sword damage. We might see spear things, and is that going to be a dip? Is that going to be a stock in the favor of Doggo? No. Unfortunately, it is not. But sword plays, they're really good. We get a dare into a nerd down here. And Vei might actually not be able to get back up. Cider, I don't think Vei can get back up. No, he can't. Great sword play to finish off the stock. Doggo, after coming off a tough loss in that first game, being denied a reverse 3 stock. Really good lead in his favor.
Indeed, and right now, I mean, Doggo having a very nice little bit of a lead there over Vei. There we go. But Vei comes back. It's like, you know what? I'm going to try to make amends. Tries to do these range attacks against Doggo, but Doggo one step ahead of Vei with these different sword attacks here and there. Nice sword combo. Tries to get that signature. But right now, I mean, the movement so far by Doggo is really showing to be benefiting them, and Vei's just having a rough time countering that, and it looks like Doggo goes in for the grab out knockout on the Vei, and Doggo takes this game to their name. It's now 1-on-1, but that just realistically came down to Vei saying, you know what, I need to land this grounded cancel neutral signature. Tries to do the best that they can, and unfortunately though, Doggo comes in with that Sidra sword ground pound, and now they're going to game number 3 even.
And it looks like Miami Dome again. Doggo, it's kind of expected because he won that last game with 2 stocks. It's kind of natural that he was going to choose Sidra for this game. But they both have a game on each other. Both of them need to win 2 games back to back in order to go on and fight Beware of sharing the losers finals of this particular tournament. Vei is the first one to pick up a weapon, picking up the spear, which I think is a lot, which screams 6 spam a lot more than Rocket Lance. At least that's a me thing. Oh, we get the neutral air. Double neutral air, almost triple in the favor of Doggo.
Yeah, Doggo is really using that sword to control the platform of this map very, very well. And I mean, we're seeing, and realistically, whoever has the more platform control, unless something insanely happens, like good happens off edge, realistically has the advantage, even if it's even, which is where it is right now. And Doggo has this platform advantage, makes Vei get into more riskier situations, and we're seeing Doggo really punishing those situations right now. Oh, nice signature coming out of Doggo.
2 in a row.
I don't know, but right now Vei in the red of that first stock. Doggo is just trying to go ahead and get that sword combo, lands it very, very nicely, and Vei goes down to that second stock.
Very nicely executed, because I see deal on the cider a lot. Oh, sorry, that was a little close. We almost get a, Yeah, Vay almost hits the recovery that it possibly would have killed, but I don't know if it would have. Unfortunately, we won't be able to find out, but we get 2 neutral lights back-to-back hit in Doggo's favor. Neutral air. Now we're getting aerial attacks galore, not heavy attacks. We're like getting aerial light attacks like Nair, Sayer, Dare, and not ground pounder recovery. Oh, Doggo almost gets the Kraken tentacle right into the grasp. No, let me rephrase that. Sidra's Kraken almost hits, almost catches Vay in its grasp. Oh, and that's going to be a huge punish for Doggo. That might be the stock. And that's not going to be the stock. The turn around. That is how fast things can absolutely change if you're Doggo. Because you got to make sure you're not doing anything weird off stage or else you're likely going to get punished like he just did there.
Yeah, and it just comes down to really having a control off edge too. And you know what? Doggo's like, you know what? Vay's going to go down to that final stock to allow Doggo to have that 1 stock lead and uses those platforms very, very well with that sword. But I think Doggo's feeling a little bit more comfortable of weapon starting Vay. They're going to swap between the cannon and the sword back and forth. But right now, Vay has that spear, gets the neutral light, side light into neutral air recovery, down light recovery, and Vay makes things even, but gets a fantastic combo there on the Doggo.
You just had to. You just had to say it and then bleep it out. It's just my things, everybody. Just apologize. I apologize for that.
Yeah, anyways, with that being said, I mean, we're going into 1 stock all here between both of these players. Neutral air into recovery. Misses the recovery, though, allowing for Doggo to pick up that sword, try to take that neutral control over Vay. There's that signature with a sword. Oh, Vay is getting a little bit risky off that ledge. And it's getting close right now.
He almost failed. He almost failed his recovery pretty miserably. Side air from Doggo. I think he has a chance to run away with this game despite the fact Vay. That was a great spear play. I mean, like, I see that spear play with people I face all the time, even my own friends. And looks like Doggo is trying to be smart. He's not throwing out recoveries. That's something I do, even myself. A lot of players, even myself, do that a lot. We just whiff recoveries and we easily get punished for that. So try not to do that if you want to be a better player. At least that's what I can read off the top of my head. And the side air, back to the game. Side air from Doggo manages to get Vay off stage. And then D-Light recovery, and that is going to put Doggo 1 game away from beating Vay and going on to fight Beware of Chair in the losers finals to possibly play as Modi.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, very nice job coming out of both of those players. And we're going to Demon Island. We still see Doggo on that Sidra. Vay is on that Orion, but both of these players, if they really want to go ahead and advance, they need to win, especially this game, to go further. So we'll definitely have to see what happens. Demon Island has that big ceiling on this map. It's the biggest ceiling out of all the maps currently in the Brawlhalla map queue for ones. And so we're going to see a lot of these players take advantage of that, especially, and I think that was a good choice for Doggo, realistically, because Vay's been trying to knock off that ceiling. That's what Vay did to go and make things even in the previous round. So I think Doggo is like, okay, I do not want that to happen, so we're going to have the higher ceiling. But this also allows for different combos off that side of the map and the bottom of this map as well. So we'll see what happens. Just because Vay has that lance, can go off the ledge and get these nice little combos as well, but so can Doggo with that cannon, with that dare, and a couple of different light attacks. It could be very, very nice, but things staying relatively even as we're getting 45 seconds in the game. But looks like Vay's really pushing Doggo's neutral control a lot, trying to bait them into different things, and gets that very nice 2-piece into dare knockout.
You can't get back
Doggo, and Vay is up a little bit over Doggo as we were a minute in.
Good thing, you need as big of a lead as you can against Doggo because he is up a game, and Vay, if he loses this game, he knows he'll be out of the tournament in 4th place. And should Doggo win this, I'm not sure if they played Chair and Doggo in tournament in the past, but if they don't, it will be a really interesting matchup. Anyway, we still got Vay to play against Doggo, and Vay picks up the rocket lance, side air, missing all these side airs can really get you punished, no matter what weapon it is. Rocket lance, cannon, side, sword, gauntlets. No matter what, there are a lot of attacks you can easily get punished for. You got to be smart with these. From what I've learned, just be smart.
Yeah, for sure. With that being said, I mean, right now we're seeing Vay going off the ledge a little bit. Doggo's really having that neutral control so far, and Vay's respecting it up until this point where, I mean, they're trying to go and take that control with Spear, gets to dare. Trying to is using all their jump options, and I think Doggo's really trying to bait for that right now. The Vay's trying to go off edge with a off edge neutral signature. Doggo lands one actually on the Vay, but at the moment things are even. Silent neutral sider coming out of Vay. Both of them use their jumps as much as they possibly can. Doggo barely touches that ledge, gets that unarmed two piece, tries to go pick up a weapon, picks up cannon. But I mean, it's staying really close right now. Two piece from Doggo. Tries to go and get this knock on Vay.
Oh.
That signature misses there by Doggo. That could have knocked out Vay, but that leg just caught them off that corner. And Doggo's getting risky. Vay realized that, but goes in for a recovery punish. Instead, it's like, you know what? That's not going to knock out. Picks the lance. Gets a sider. Gets the dare.
That's going to be a punish. That's going to be a punish. And unfortunately, that punish does not go to the bottom of the screen. And unfortunately, Doggo gets punished himself, and that sends him out of this stock.
Yeah, indeed. And with that being said, it is an even game. It's an even game right now, currently between both of these players. And I think realistically, if we're really thinking about it, Doggo feels a lot more comfortable going into this just because Vay needs to win this game if they want to go into game number 5. But if Doggo wins this, they advance in the bracket. So Doggo's feeling a little bit more comfortable than Vay at the moment. Vay trying to go in for some risky options with Lance. Actually swaps over to Spear, gets the Silent. We're gonna probably see them use that neutral signature again, just because they've been using that as like a bait option. You can see them trying to bait them into that, but Doggo's realizing it. Gets that little two piece into a credit. He's a Sidelight. That's an interesting option coming in from them. But overall, Doggo with this neutral control allows themselves to have a little bit of an advantage. But Vay now has that neutral control, has that weapon advantage, and it's becoming a little bit more even here as we're going into the 5-minute mark.
And this game is really anyone's, and that's it. And you miss your side signature, and you get absolutely destroyed for that. And that is going to mean Doggo of Kingdom Allegiance takes it 3-1 over Vay, moving in the lower finals or elimination finals, whatever you want to call it. He will be fighting against Beware of Chair. Winner of that will be moving on to play as Modi in the grand finals.
Yeah, and with that being said, I believe we are going to have a small break.